my first buffalo in several days, and he doesn't seem to want to see us though. In fact, he is quite determined to move off. I think just because there is some really nice shade over there, but he doesn't seem terribly impressed about it. Good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to the Sunset Safari once again. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon I have Xongile on camera with me, and we had a buffalo, but he's gone now. And you are on a live safari from the middle of a place called Djuma Private Game Reserve, which is in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa. So right up in the top northeastern corner where the animals roam free and wild, as they have done for many, many generations. Let me duck my head out of the way so that you can see some of the newest arrival on Djuma Private Game Reserve in the form of 3 adorable little Impala lambs. I can see 2. Is that one lying at the... It is. Have you spotted the third? There's a question. I can see it. Impala baby. Now they are one of our absolute favorite things about this time of year. The other is the trilling call of the woodland kingfisher, the return of many of our beautiful species, the birth of the wildebeest calves. All in all, it is just a lovely time of year. It is, however, quite a hot time of year. I've forgotten what the temperature is. 38? 37? It's 99. I know it's 99 in Fahrenheit. It is blisteringly warm. I promise you it is hotter than 99 in Fahrenheit when you're sitting here. We're all a little bit shiny at the moment, enjoying the baking hot temperatures, but it looks as though it might be another normal summer's day. Normal summer rain patterns coming back once again. Oof, that sky. Now, good afternoon to CE on our warm afternoon. I wanted to show you our buffalo, but unfortunately he has vanished. Now, you want to know, are buffalo herds and elephant herds gone essentially for the rest of the season, so the rainy season or summer? No, they will be back. We just won't see them in the massive numbers that we were seeing them during the dry season. So one of the big things that happens when it starts to rain, the gabbro soils start to give rise to these amazing grasslands, and there's quite a few of them in the northern side of Buffelshoek, Manyeleti, eastern side of Torchwood. So that's where a lot of our elephants and our buffalo have disappeared. Because you're right, I mean, it did seem as though we went from teeming with buffalo and elephants to having none. Now, just quickly before I carry on, I forgot to tell you that we are interactive as well, which means you can send through your questions on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or email through to questions@WildEarthTV. If you are new to these safaris, it is not just myself out here. There is another gentleman called Byron. There goes our buffalo. The most contrary buffalo bull in all of Djuma. Yes, my boy, I'm talking to you. Let me try that again. It's not just ourselves out here. There is also a gentleman called Byron. Let's go over to him to find out what his plans are for this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Byron, and on camera with me this afternoon is Viam. And it is a very, very warm afternoon, so I'm thinking we are just going to start checking some water holes and see if we don't have any luck around there. No sign of Karula this morning. We had tracks on the bushwalk, we had tracks early on, but they basically headed directly in front of Vuyatela, so in front of the lodge, so she may still be in that area, but around those thick drainage lines. I may just head into that area a little bit later and go have a look and see if she doesn't pop out. But for now, two little Duiker, off they go. Very quick little glimpse of them. Little Duiker, a beautiful antelope. One of the smallest we get in the area, that and the Steenbok. Nice to see them, a pair of them. But they're very, very shy. That's usually how a Duiker sighting goes. They do run off quite quickly. Would be wonderful to find some elephant. And I'm hoping maybe we get the odd elephant coming through drinking water somewhere today. Oh, where's some warthogs drinking? Hang on, I thought I saw something interesting. What bird was that? Just have a look here quickly. You know what it was, everyone? It was the European bee-eaters that are flying around. I can just hear them. I want to see if one or two land, perhaps, that I can show you. I know Jamie saw some this morning. I did hear about that, but they're wonderful to see. A lot of them flying around here at the moment. It's very tricky. I thought I saw one go into this marula off to the left. Let's have a look. Can hear them calling too. They don't sit still usually. Unfortunately, they do move away quite quickly. Some Impala off to our left. See if there are any lambs around them. No, it looks like a bachelor herd perhaps. I think they're just some males. There it goes. Oh, these drainage lines, it's amazing. And there's a beautiful kudu. Hang on. I should get a nice view of it. Now these drainage lines are lovely areas because they are very cool and probably the coolest areas this time of day in this area. Look at that beautiful female kudu. These three male impala just walking past her. That's strange to see a female kudu by herself. Usually they're in small groups. I'm just scanning around to see if I can't see the others. I don't see any at the moment. And just the three males. That's also a small bachelor herd. Usually you can get a lot more males hanging around together. And as I was saying, with it being so hot, these animals do all head towards the drainage lines and they feed in these areas. It is a lot cooler, so it's a nice little area for them to hang around in until it starts cooling down again, and then they'll probably head towards water, have a drink, and then we know generally a lot of these animals, mainly the impala, not necessarily the kudu, they do enjoy the thickets, but the impala will head out towards the clearings or slightly more open areas and spend the night there where it's a bit easier to keep an eye out for predators. But for now, in this weather, this heat, it's nice just to stay close to the drainage lines and in the shade. Now I can still hear these European bee-eaters flying above us. I don't know if you can pick up on their call, but let me play it for you quickly just to give you an idea. Let me just see. Here we go. Here it is, and I always think they're going to indicate rain, and I'll tell you why I say that. But listen to the call. Beautiful sound. And you can hear them flying above us at the moment, I can't see any. But it's funny. Once you recognize the call of a bird, you can hear it very easily, but to find them sometimes is not easy, and they'll be flying about quite high up and calling, and they usually do that. Always, judging by what I've seen in the past, they usually do it when it starts getting cloudy and there's possibly a chance of rain, changing humidity in the air, and you can see it starting to cloud over behind us. So I wonder if perhaps this evening we don't have some bad weather coming in. But I'm not a weather expert, and I don't know. Sometimes the birds get it wrong. Anyway, we're going to continue checking these drainage lines and having a look for animals down here and around water holes. While I do that, I'm not the only one out here, neither is Jamie. We also have Brent, who's on the bushwalk. Let's go say hi.
Well, a bushwalk, more of a sauna. It is incredibly hot today. Welcome, and as you can see, I'm doing what all sensible animals in this heat does. I'm sitting in the shade of a beautiful tree. But on my way towards this beautiful tree, we did actually find what is probably a Natal Franklin. Just judging by the size, its egg. Now, of course, we've just coming out of the drought, and we've talked a lot about the mammals and their problems they're facing, but birds also face problems. We're going to get into that in a second, because, of course, this time it's the killer bees on foot.
Killer bees!
And it's the deathly thumb for the deathly heat, unless you're as tough as the killer bees, because we will face the heat on foot, we shall. Now, while we were walking, we also found a little bit of a surprise, and I thought, where am I going to put the surprise without losing them? So I popped them inside. Look at that. Now, how's that look there? Can you see them?
Yeah.
Or should I take them out and put them on my hand?
Take them out and put them on.
Take them out and put my hand. So very, very pretty. I'm just going to get them into a spot where Brian can get them really nicely. So there we go. Those are lucky beans, and they're from the lucky bean creeper. There we go. I could not find the creeper where Aubrey, who's making sure we're safe, found those lying on the ground nearby. But isn't that absolutely beautiful? Now, if I were to throw them back, I'd be in hospital. So they are quite poisonous, but they're used traditionally as decorations and bracelets and things like that, and on clothing. But I think I'm going to keep it. Oh, no, come back. One lucky bee nearly escaped. But as I was saying about, the birds also face quite a bit of a troubled time during the drought, especially something like a franklin that eats a lot of grass as well as eating insects. So drought, insects and grass are not something that are plentiful. But this franklin has obviously done well. So what you often find after extreme droughts, extreme floods, etc., there's certain things, and specifically in certain animals, you can notice. Now, with birds, when they breed, one of their biggest problems is the thickness of their shell. So if the shell's not thick enough, most of the time those little baby birds will not survive. But this is impressive. I mean, this is well built, and incredibly how thick it is. Now, I can tell it's definitely a bird's egg from the way it's made. It's more ceramic type sort of than a reptile's egg, which would be sort of leathery, and I'll be able to push it and squash it. But there we go. Very, very cool. I think I'm going to keep this because it's not often you find one as nice as and intact as that. Now, there's a very specific reason I chose this beautiful big jackalberry that's here. And Aubrey and I were chatting with Brian as we walked across towards this little dry riverbed, and this is of course where Karula had the kill very recently, and we only had tracks of Karula disappearing this morning, so we think young Xongile and Hosanna might be there. Now, Brian, do you think I'll make the hill?
Maybe.
Maybe. Is it death defying?
Ooh, very much so.
Oh, it's killer bees. Here we go. Whoa! And I get to have a snack. No, I don't. So this is really, really rotten already. I'm not touching this. I'm touching the fur on the outside. But that's all that's left of the young Impala. Now, strange enough, those of you who've been watching will remember a leopard, a big favourite of mine, whose name was Djuma. And this is a kill of a bushbuck, if I remember correctly. It could have been an Inyala that Djuma had in this exact tree. So it's incredible that, I mean, nearly 2 years later, Mom's brought the next generation to the exact same tree, and she probably brought Djuma to this tree many, many moons ago. But very, very cool. So the reason I'm down here and Brian's up there is, of course, we don't want to have any gremlins. But isn't that cool? So that's definitely the second generation of Karula's cubs we know for sure that have been to this exact beautiful old African ebony tree. But moving on, Jamie's got something that might fly away, so let's go have a look.
And just have a look at this, one of my absolute top 5 favorite raptors, a Harrier hawk or a Djuma. And the presence of this particular bird has well and truly upset the apple cart. Have a look at the color of his face, because that's going to disappear soon. That's not just because of the heat, that is because he has been dive bombed repeatedly by a bird known as a fork-tailed drongo. He's also been mobbed by the various starlings of the area, and for very good reason. So usually a Harrier hawk's... Oh, he's cross. Oh, he's so cross. Usually Harrier hawks, when they are nice and relaxed, have yellow faces, but he's flushed and red because he's angry. He's being attacked by other birds. And they have a jolly good reason to do so, because this is a very proficient nest raider. This is a bird that we don't often get to see, and the fact that this one is being as obliging as it is truly amazing. Oh, look at it snapping at the starlings. I don't know where the drongo's gone, but the drongo was being incredible. It was dive bombing backwards and forwards, dropping out of the sky and flying at this Harrier hawk. Oh, there comes more starlings. They're so unimpressed. But a Harrier hawk is a serious threat to their nests. So Harrier hawks, with their double jointed legs and their ability to turn themselves completely upside down at times, will go forward and spend its day digging its talons into holes in trees and various birds' nests. But yes, them things where they lay their eggies. It'll reach in and grab the eggs or grab the chicks. So it is not a very popular bird. In fact, it is probably the most unpopular of all of the raptor species. And the starling's not quite... Oh! I take that back. I was about to say not quite as brave as the drongos. Isn't it amazing, the courage of these birds? Incoming! Oh, false alarm. No, incoming! Again, false alarm. It's amazing, these little birds, the courage that they have to face off against a bird of prey that is so much larger than themselves. Now, when we came through, he was on the floor, or she was on the floor. I've got to be careful of doing that. I'm not quite sure, or on the ground. The floor is in a house on the ground. And I'm not quite sure what it was up to. It was obviously disrupted by the starlings. Look at the colour slowly draining from its face. Well, since I'm here, I might as well have a look and see if there's any holes in the tree. Now, the most incredible birds to watch. Andre and myself once spent... How long did we spend with that one on quarantine? An hour. It must have been close to an hour. And eventually, we saw it catch what was either a baby squirrel or a bush baby. We still to this day don't really know. But it happened so fast. Luckily, Gendre managed to catch it on camera because he's just good that way. Well done, Gendre.
I try.
I'm waiting to see what this Harrier hawk, they don't usually stick around this long, and I'm actually surprised that it has. I wonder if it's not waiting to go back for the starlings to get bored so that it can go back to where it was on the ground. And apologies to Cuddly Owl. I don't think I did say it clearly enough. I got so excited that I forgot to really go into the name properly. It is a Harrier hawk, an African Harrier hawk. Also, the old name is a Djuma, which I have to say is kind of cooler than Harrier hawk. The name Djuma just has a certain ring to it that Harrier hawk does not. Harrier hawk, of course, is the official name because it is far better descriptive in terms of the bird's evolutionary background and its family background. Djuma, I'm actually not sure where the name Djuma comes from, but I like it better. It's also because I've been raised knowing it as a Djuma. You can see the crest on the top of its head. They are grey birds with barring underneath their chests. So the only bird that you could maybe mistake a Harrier hawk for is a is one of the members of the goshawk family. Perhaps maybe the dark chanting goshawk, but they're much, much larger than those birds. And they have a very different approach, a very different way of moving on the logs and on the trees, a very different posture. They also, of course, provoke a far more intense reaction from surrounding birds. Although it seems as though this one's decided to settle now. You know what? It's hot. I don't think it wants to fly because it's hot. Look, it's panting. It's one of the only ways that birds can cool down. And enlightened guru, you want to know whether or not they eat other birds. Yes, they are nest raiders. So they will eat chicks. They tend not to be able to catch adult birds, although they could if there was perhaps some hapless female sitting on her eggs or sitting with her chicks in the nest, then they could catch her and they could eat her. But yes, they are nest raiders. Shame. It's so hot. I've never seen one sit still for this long. Panting away. Was panting. Yep, there it goes again. One of the only other ways that birds can cool, or one of the few ways that birds can cool down, because of course they can't sweat. A lot of the storks out here that spend a lot of their day in the blazing sun in the water, sorry, not in the water, that will cool them down, but away from the water, things like marabou storks will actually defecate on their legs to help to cool themselves down. But for the Harrier hawk, that isn't really an option, and its legs aren't really long enough for that to make much of a difference. So panting is... Oh, back again. One parting shot from the final starling. Wait, somebody's coming in? Kingfisher! You know what? It really sucks being the Harrier hawk of the bush. Everybody hates you. Even if you're just sitting there minding your own business, panting away, everybody just wants to bite your head off. I'm trying to think of a human equivalent. Shame. You know, when you're just sitting there minding... Look, I mean, admittedly, they are a big threat to birds' nests, so you can't blame the birds. But even when they are just sitting there, even a kingfisher, that was a brown-hooded kingfisher, by the way, that shot past and nearly picked it on the head. And now, what the birds are actually doing is just keeping a very close eye on what this Harrier hawk is up to. I always have such a hard done-by look about them as well. That hunched posture. I suppose I would too, if everybody kept pecking me. Now, of all things flighted, Brent perhaps is seriously fascinated by butterflies. Let's go and see which particular one he has found.
Of course, as you go to a butterfly, it flutters by. Now, it's going to probably land... There we go, out in the open again. You got him, Brian. Now, that is one of our more common species. We had a couple around here, but it's the only one who's hung around to say hi. And you can see the black coming through at the sort of back end of the wing, and this is a broad banded grass yellow. One of our most common yellow... Oh, flutter by. One of our most common yellow butterflies, and at the moment they're feeding on a very, very yellow little flower. I'm just going to get one for you here. And this one, the reason I've picked this one is most of them have already pollinated and fallen off. It is called a yellow justicia, and it is a... It's named, well, actually a village very close by here is named after this. We get about 5 or 6 different justicias, this being the most common. And now let me teach you a little bit about the scientific name of things. So, justicia is, I think it's actually from a British plant originally, but the second part, flava. Flava, if I remember my Latin or ancient Greek, is yellow. So there we go. It's a yellow justicia, and it tells you that in the Latin name. Very, very cool, very common around sort of disturbed soils, and a really great spot to look for butterflies, especially the blues. And they're the tiniest, most hard ones to identify. And I'm really hoping, and with Brian's steady camera work, that the killer bees are going to find you a blue or two today. Now, I just wanted to have a look. So the reason we had quite a few butterflies, ooh, I don't know what that is, Brian. Oh, it's a jumping spider. Okay, I don't want to get too close because he will leap away. So if you see that sort of patch of dead stuff, right in the thickest middle, there's a little black and white jumping spider. You got him? You got him, yeah. Now look at these guys, are incredible. Did he just jump? Terrible creature. Okay, I'm going to try to get a bit closer, see if he jumps into view. Oh no, he's still there. If we come... Now, this is more delicate than tracking a leopard. It's called tracking a jumping spider because they can leap. So we've tracked it. Now, I just saw a glimmer of movement. Have you got him there? Yeah. Okay, we don't want to get too close just yet in case he decides to gap it. What stick is he on? Yeah. Oh, he's on the grass. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, imagine that. If that thing was the size of an impala, an elephant wouldn't be safe. They are incredibly strong. And if he was the size of an impala, he could probably jump 100 feet in a single leap. Now, you've got lots of different types of jumping spiders, but most of them are ambush spiders. They can spin silk like all spiders, but they don't rely on webs to catch their prey. Whoa, there we go. See that? That's why he's called a jumping spider. He's jumped out of frame. He's running along there now. But if I'm trying to remember, my spiders are a bit rusty, but the black and white one like this, I think if I remember correctly, is called a harlequin jumping spider. Which one would make sense, you know, black and white? Well, he's actually come closer to us. He's become acclimatized to the killer bees. Now, of course, little creatures like this that can move so quickly are incredibly difficult to film, and that's why I'm thankful to have my partner in crime, Brian, on foot with me today as we explore the little creatures, and we think we might find a leopard as well, but don't tell anyone else of Djuma. But Byron's got another bird, so let's go have a look.
Oh, well, now look at this, everyone. We've got a cuckoo, but I wonder... Now, I'm going to explain a few things to you because it looks to me like this could potentially be a common cuckoo, which is actually not very common, surprisingly, despite the name. And I'll tell you why. It looks so similar to the African cuckoo, but this one... So if you look at that beak, it's a little bit darker, almost black to the tip. And then at the base of the beak, at the back, it's got yellow. Whereas the African cuckoo has got, I'd say, a bit more of an orange bill or beak. But they do look so similar. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure because it's just these cuckoos are quite rare at the best of times. You don't often see them. But the interesting thing with the common cuckoo is it's silent in southern Africa. It doesn't call. So if this bird calls, then we know it is an African cuckoo, but I'll show you how similar they are shortly. Just try and get a good look at it. You can see it's very, very hot, opening its beak and trying to cool down. Yeah, so difficult. And the other thing is obviously to find a decent picture of one is very difficult. No, you know what? Now, there's definitely a lot more orange on the African cuckoo and a yellowish eye, where the common cuckoo has got a bit more of a yellowish color around the eye and a much darker beak. I think this is a common cuckoo. And those of you who can get screenshots and have a good look and try identify it, but I do think this is a common cuckoo. That is wonderful. I think this is wonderful. All right. Now, I'll show you why I say that. Okay, let's have a look at the common cuckoo first. So, this is what I think it is. Now, unfortunately, this app can't zoom in any closer. But you can see, and there's another picture here, that darker color around the beak, the slightly yellowish base, and the yellow around the eye, that slightly yellowish color around the eye. I think this is a hepatic form. Yeah, that's a hepatic form. We don't often see those. And then the adult, that's the adult, and that was the barring we could see. Unfortunately, just not a front-on view of it. But then let me show you the African cuckoo quickly. And the African cuckoo here, you can see far more orange in the beak, or orange around the eye, just a black tip to the beak. And that definitely did not look like it. That bird had more black and then a bit of a yellow base. That was it. But full adult coloration of the common cuckoo. Not this African cuckoo. So I do think, and it hasn't called. I'm trying to listen out just to hear, because the African cuckoo call is very easy to identify. It's like a boop, 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 boop. Sorry, something like that, but very easy to identify, and I haven't heard it call. And like I said, the common cuckoo is silent in southern Africa, which is very interesting. And why I'm so excited is because I've never seen the common cuckoo before. So it'll be a lifer for me. I'm not just trying to convince myself that it is a common cuckoo. I do really think that was. And I wonder, is it still sitting there? It is still sitting there. That is incredible. Wow, that is fantastic. But that is such a nice sighting of a cuckoo. Usually they fly away very quickly, as you know and as you've seen. But that was really, really interesting. So I do think that's a common cuckoo, which I'm very excited about. Lovely to see new birds. I'm going to just browse through my app and read a bit more about the common cuckoo and see what else I can find out. While I do that, let's cross over to Jamie, who's finally got some tall animals for us to see.
Alrighty, well, hopefully we are all back and up and running. I'm sorry for the extended period of silence. We were having some problems with our stream, I think. So Rebecca had asked me to, in no uncertain terms, to just please be quiet whilst they attempted to fix things. So, as you may or may not have gathered, I'm not sure whether you were paying any attention, we are with some giraffe, a surprise. And of course now they've decided to all but disappear into the bush. But we actually have, it's a relatively rare sighting for us to see 7 giraffe in an area like this. It's actually 7 males, quite possibly the same 7 males that we have seen in the past. I know Taylor saw them play fighting, or necking as it's known, and it may well be them. But yes, a journey of 7 male giraffe, which is a nice surprise because it feels like a long time since I last saw a giraffe on these live safaris. I don't know whether Brent, Byron or James have had any more luck than I have, but it does feel like quite an extended period since we've enjoyed a pleasant giraffe sighting. And since they've all now decided, wait, hold on, here comes one, he's going to come into the open, and then I'll reposition for him. A young male, still hasn't reached his full size, very light in colour. His ossicone's not yet fully developed. Though there's about, from what I can see, what I saw briefly, there's about 3 or 4 young males, and then a couple of big dominant or almost dominant bulls. They seem to be the ones hanging out a little bit further to the back. Oh, here comes one last straggler. Let's just see if he's going to stop before I do reposition. I'm a little bit worried they're going to start moving into this vegetation. It's very thick in this block, and although giraffe are one of the animals that we will off-road for, we can off-road for, it might be essentially counterproductive to try and follow them, just because the sound of our vehicle moving might move them further into the dense vegetation, at least going off-road. They're not as accustomed to it as our leopards and our lions. There you go. Tall and elegant and very much missed. I feel like we've missed out on the giraffe sightings of late. Let's reposition. Hopefully they decide to move more out into the open. I actually spotted them, to be honest. I spotted them while we were with that Djuma, or the Harrier hawk, who eventually, by the way, flew away, much to the consternation of the starlings, who seem to be of the opinion that it's not allowed to sit down, and it's not allowed to fly away either. Essentially, the poor Djuma can't win. Unfortunately, it looks as though our giraffe are in some relatively dense vegetation. I'll stick around for now to see whether or not they do pop out. But while we do that, let's go over to Brent so you can have a look at something pretty.
Playing around and round the Peltiforum with a very cool little grasshopper. So it is of the bladder hopper family. Now, we've been looking at a few grasshoppers, and they're actually very interesting because they're very, very different. So you'll notice this grasshopper, he doesn't even have proper wing casings. So he's got sort of remnant of a wing casing, and his camouflage is his main form of defense. He's chosen a very bad bush to sit on because it's the one he sticks on quite a lot. So grasshoppers are not all the same. So this is a bladder hopper, and I can tell that by his enlarged abdomen. Don't get scared, little dude, we're not going to eat you. I'm not that hungry today. But he would, if I was stuck out here, he would be definitely one of the grasshoppers I would eat. And you can see he's very, very cool. Slightly orange antenna, but his camouflage is what saves him. So we've got lots of different defense mechanisms with the different species of grasshoppers and how they behave. And, oh, isn't he very cool? Now, I was going to show you a flower, but I think we'll come back to the flower because I'm hoping another grasshopper we found just now, who is literally, in terms of looks and defense mechanisms, worlds apart from the bladder hopper. Now, I'm trying to rack my brain. Brian actually spotted it, and it was there he is, still there, an impressive spot. Now, he almost looks exactly like a stick insect. Look at that. So that is a grasshopper. Even though it looks, and he's designed specifically to look like a piece of grass. He's another grasshopper who's chosen a bad place to hide because it is one that sticks out. Now, this is a flying grasshopper species, so his wings are actually folded down along his back, and I'm quite sure if I remember correctly, a lot of these type, maybe not him specifically, but a lot of these types of grasshoppers have what we call flash coloration, so bright colors under the wings. So when they jump, that shows this bright orange, which attracts attention of the predators, which you would think is counterintuitive. But as soon as they drop and close, it disappears. I don't want to disturb him, so I'm not going to get him to jump for us, but very, very, very cool. And it shows you that even something like a grasshopper, you can have hundreds and thousands of variations of camouflage, of defensive mechanisms. Some are noxious, some are not. It's just incredible how diverse the insect kingdom is. That's so cool. Now, we don't want to disturb him. I'm sure he's just as hot as us. It is sweltering. So the cloud has come over, but it hasn't by any means diminished the heat. It is literally like a sauna. It's a really hot, humid sauna. So if I'm dripping, I do apologize. Remember, this is live. Otherwise, I can't go and the makeup crew comes in, polishes us up, makes us look a bit better. That's not going to happen. I think my makeup would be running. It would be, yes, yeah. If I had any makeup on. Fortunately, we don't need that out here. It's not very manly or rugged, is it? But okay. Now this is a flower. Now, strange enough, that grasshopper was sitting on the same species of plant, but the flower was not visible. Okay, let me just get down next to the flower. So this is a plumbago. How's that, Brian? I'll try not... No, that's not going to work. I shake too much. ADHD, you terrible thing, you. Okay, so this is a plumbago. And you can see a lot of the flowers. There's actually 1, 2, 3 that are still about to come out. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that have already flowered. So they're flowering at different times, and depending on the rain, normally you would find a lot of flowers in plumbago. Because of the drought, and it's probably holding some in reserve. Now, they've got a very interesting seed dispersal method. So these guys at the bottom here have already been pollinated, and you can see they just drop off. Now, if I was an Impala or an Inyala walking past, I mean, it's incredible. It's made to stick onto fur, but it is so sticky that it sticks onto my finger. Oh, that's going to... Whoop. But if I had to put that on my shirt or onto an animal, it really doesn't come off. I mean... See, that's incredible. So it's designed to stick onto animals as they go past, or onto Brian's socks. Or fortunately, I don't wear socks. But so that's how they disperse. And I mean, it's sticky. And not only has it got little hooks and stuff on it, but it's actually sticky, like it's been covered in honey or whatnot. But it's absolutely incredible. Again, how not only the insect world, but the plant world has these amazing variations of dispersal of seeds and things like that. I'm always amazed by it, and that's the wonderful thing about jumping off the car from time to time. You get a chance to look a little bit deeper and still look for leopards. So I'm still convinced that Xongile and Hasana are somewhere in this little drainage line. Hello, Bush Mum. And Bush Mum says, oh, there we go, off it goes, for some poor unsuspecting beastie to walk through. Bush Mum says all her plumbagos are purple and this one is white. So the non-indigenous to Africa plumbagos, and as far as I know, I think the purple or blue ones, they might be indigenous to Africa, but I think further up north in Africa. So in the bush and out in the wild in this part of Africa, the white plumbago is the indigenous one. But great to hear you've got plumbagos in your garden, Bushman. Be careful of those sticky seeds; they might get you. Or your dog, if you've got a dog or a cat, definitely they would become covered in plumbagos. Ooh, Byron's got something very small that we don't see often.
We've just got a quick view of a slender mongoose. Now, I'm just trying to see if he's still around there. Oh, I think he's disappeared into that thicket. Let's just have a look. There was a starling mobbing him and chasing it away. We raced into the area to see if it was perhaps a snake, but it was a slender mongoose. Now I wonder if we can get a glimpse of him. I think he's gone. I think he's disappeared. There is. Oh. There are two of them. Very, very quick. Did you get a glimpse of them? too quick for us. Very, very shy little mongoose, the slender mongoose. It's not often you get to see two of them. I'll show you a picture of them. That's a pity they move so quickly. But don't worry, I'll get a picture quickly and show you what they look like. They've got little black tufts on the tail. And the reason those birds were mobbing it and alarm calling is because they try and they'll go for eggs and nests, raid them, basically looking for, like I say, eggs or even chicks. Little chicks that might be in there. Where's the slender mongoose? Now, this isn't a very good picture of one, but that is one over there. You can't see the tail, very thin tail with a black tip. Actually, there you can see it up there. Yeah, that's it. Very cute little mongoose, but and interesting. I think there's a bit of a again, one of these cultural beliefs of these slender mongoose. And my tracker that I used to work with, Judas, used to tell me this often. And I'd always laugh at him and say, "Are you sure, Judas?" He goes, "No, I'm telling you." And what would happen is we'd see a slender mongoose, and usually, just like we saw earlier, they run across the road very quickly in front of you and they dart away. And what happens is they either run with their tail held up or they run with their tail flat. And Judas would always say if the tail is up and it ran across the road, it was bad luck. And that's what they believe. A lot of the Shangaan people in this area believe that. And if the tail was flat and down and ran across, it would be good luck. So that one, I'm a little worried because it ran halfway across with the tail down, and then as the bird came, the tail went up for the other half. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll just be on even par this afternoon. But nice to see them. Very quick glimpse though, but interesting to see the slender mongoose. Sure, I agree with Brent. It has become a bit of a sauna now with this cloud cover that's come over us. Very, very hot. So we're now going through some drainage lines, and we dip quite a bit. Just having a look. I'm trying to look in these areas because it's generally cooler, and we might be lucky with a bit more activity, animals moving through here. But so far, nothing. I'm so glad Jamie got to see those giraffe. That is a lovely sighting. We haven't seen giraffe for quite some time. One stone and two cat. You wanted to know what those mongoose eat. As I mentioned, you might have just missed it, but they feed on eggs or chicks, and they'll try and raid nests. Some of them do feed on reptiles. It depends on the species of mongoose. So some of these smaller little mongoose, like the dwarf mongoose that we get around here, we do see them fairly regularly. But they'll eat little invertebrates and insects. That's what they feed on. And then let me just show you the slender mongoose again, the one that we just saw. And the slender mongoose, hang on, yeah, it'll show you us here. Small rodents, birds, amphibians, fruits, even insects. So they feed on quite a wide variety, but they do raid nests quite a lot, quite regularly. So, but it depends, like I said, it depends on the mongoose species and what they feed on exactly. But a lot of them insects are basically make up a big part of their diet. And then you do get the ones that raid nests and eggs. They'll eat reptiles, amphibians like frogs. So it all depends. All depends on the size of the mongoose and what they're looking for. Going through an area where I think the signal gets a bit tricky, so just bear with us. this drainage line. It's a little bit thick around here, but let's head back to Brent on the bushwalk and see what he's got.
Are we live, Brian? Can they see me? Oh no, sorry, what a surprise. No, of course, I'm just joking. So we've come out of that little riverbed, and we did find tracks of... Brian, stop following me. What are you doing? We did find tracks of one of the Karula's cubs, but we think it's the tracks of when she took it through to the little Impala she had. And we've just popped up onto the sort of high ground above the drainage line. And we just want to listen a little bit. Aubrey's wandering ahead of us. We did hear some alarm calls from a rattling testicular. So we don't want to sort of give the cubs a big fright by coming around in a very narrow area. So we've come out. Carry on, let's go. I'll stop trying to hide now. Now, of course, the wonderful thing about being on foot, and as I say, there's always something to say, and we've proved it from the vehicles. And when I say stop, and within 10 meters we'll find 10 interesting things, but because we've got a purpose, I'm only going to do one, and then we're going to walk. Oh dear, it doesn't have a flower. It's nearly got a flower though. Let's see if one's got a flower close by. Oh dear, it hasn't been a good year for the wildfires. There are some. Does it look like they're about to pop through? Yes, there's the signs of the flowers coming. Now this is one of those funny little plants that doesn't have an English name. It's not that important, and it's not that pretty, but it is that important. If you're a butterfly. If you're a butterfly of the family of my favorite butterflies, the Harrier butterflies. It is we can even see where the butterflies have been eating all the larvae. Look at that. You can see where the caterpillars have munched through the leaves here. And that is one of the Harrier species more than likely. And this is the little plant that the Harrier butterflies gets its poison from. So it's a brightly orange and black butterfly. I'm afraid while we're on foot we don't carry too many books and stuff, but I would recommend googling Harrier, A-C, oh dear, here comes spelling, A-C, R-A-E-A, if I remember correctly, something like that. Harrier butterflies, and you should see how incredibly beautiful they are, and they possess hydrogen cyanide, and they sequester that poison from this wonderful little nondescript plant called a Wildtharia indica. Okay, now we're going to head towards where we heard that cisticola. So a cisticola, people say it in different ways. It is an LBJ, a little brown job, and unless you're an avid birder, a lot of times they're looked over, and a lot of them can only be told by their call. And in this area we only really get the rattling. I've only seen zitting once. Can you believe there's a bird called a zitting cisticola? Brian, I'd go slightly to the left. There we go, you're on a big path. And don't want you to fall over like Gendre. And a zitting cisticola. The red-faced, a very embarrassed cisticola. Now, the red-faced cisticola, if you're ever in South Africa, and especially in this part, and you go down near a river that's got phragmites, so sort of like big reeds, you probably get it at home. It's the most common grass species in the world, occurs on every continent apart from Antarctica, and it's that long sort of thin, quite sharpish reed, and they live inside those reeds only where there's water, and they've got actually quite a wonderful call. But I will find the call for you. But now we can hear cisticolas going mad, and that's why we came up here. You can see we're looking down on the drainage, and we think that this is where the little leopard cubs might be, especially judging from the cisticolas getting more and more upset as we get closer and closer. So we're going to check very, very carefully, and this would be an ideal place for Karula to leave those cubs. Oh, what's that hiding there? No, I thought I might have seen a spot or two. Can you hear them, Brian? Final control, I'm not sure if you can hear that. And there's about 3 or 4 of those little birds alarm calling. Okay, so isn't this exciting? There could be a leopard right here. Now, with leopards, it's quite interesting. A lot of it depends on how you behave. You don't want to spend too long staring at an area. So leopard relies on camouflage, so then they tend to get a bit nervous and move away. But if you sort of, nonchalant, have a glance, walk a little bit, have a glance. But I think if they are, they're going to be on. Ooh, it's a white stick. I thought it was a little bit of a tail. They're probably going to be on the other side of a big termite mound there. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to walk past the area till we can look back from a distance. That might give the cubs a little bit, if they are here, that might give them a bit of a feeling of safety. But it could also be a snake or a mongoose or anything. So if we can't see any sign of them, we'll actually probably go into that area to investigate, because it'd be really cool if it's a snake. So as we move on, you can see Aubrey there making sure I don't stumble into a buffalo. Ooh, I don't know if it's leopards. There's Impala there. Could be a snake. You can see the Impala through there. So while we investigate what has irritated the rattling testiculars, so let's go see what Byron's up to.
Now, we just got to Buffelshoek Dam, everyone, and I was hoping there'd be something around here. But alas, there's nothing. There's nothing. Some bird species around, though. There's the Egyptian goose up on the other side of the dam. A few of them, a pair of them. And then, what else have we got? Not much else. Even the regular water thickneys that are here, that we do see regularly, they're not around. I don't know where they are. Possibly hiding in the shade. It's nice and cool here, though. So I was hoping that something would come through and drink, but it doesn't look like it at all. Sure. Sometimes your plans just don't work out, which is okay. It's the bush, and you can't ever predict what's going to happen. I must admit, I'm driving rusty for the first time in a long time. And I know Brent was struggling to turn around, and he took the door off, and it makes such a big difference. I must be honest, it's so nice to be able to turn around easily and not have the door squashing against us or stopping our legs. There's some little three-banded plovers. Let's see, there we go. They've just landed, one or two running around in the middle of the mud over here. Beautiful birds, beautiful birds. I think we should possibly just continue from here and see what else we can find. Hang on, what little birds are those? Oh, two blue waxbills. Have a look, just ahead of us. You might see them flying around. Let's see where. There we go. There we go. There's one. Blue waxbill. Wonderful. Look at that beautiful little bird. There are two of them there. Oh, these are some of my favorite little birds. Blue waxbills. That is really, really great. They are so colorful, but so difficult to see. There are three of them. Well, this is a treat. I know this is the first for me to be able to get them on cameras. I don't know how many times you've seen these. They are very, very beautiful little birds. That's nice. Nice little surprise. See, when you just sit around and wait, things happen around you. You get these little birds that you don't see often coming through. It's always nice to do a bit of birding. There's some of the starlings around that are usually here. Birchall starling. Then there's the red-billed buffalo weavers also around. There's one right in front of us that's just landed. That's a lovely view of it. And see how hot these birds are, all trying to cool down by opening their beaks and allowing that cool breeze to blow through their beaks. And that helps cool the birds down. That's a really nice view of the red-billed buffalo weaver. So you see, just when you think, well, there's not much going on, there's actually a lot going on around you. You just need to have patience, scan around and see what there is to appreciate. And it may not necessarily be animals, or large animals, but it could be birds, it could be insects, it could be butterflies. anything like that. That was nice. Very nice surprise. I'm glad we got to see those little blue waxbills. Aren't they cute? They're wonderful little birds to see. There's a lot of them. Quite a few of those little waxbills around. Let's see. Again, I'm still in search of elephant. I've been looking around and unfortunately haven't had any luck. And I was so spoilt. Hang on, there's a little duiker and he's stopped. There we go. Beautiful view of a male duiker. Look at those little horns. Only the males have horns, the females don't. I'm keeping my voice down because we saw earlier, and as I explained, they generally run off very quickly. And there they go. Let's see if he does his. Not quite. They've got an interesting running style where they run and it appears as if they're jumping and looping or diving through the bush. And that's where the name Duiker comes from. It's spelled D-U-I-K-E-R. And it's a Dutch or Afrikaans word which means diver. And I think it comes from that way that they bound through the bush. There you can just... and see how secretive they are and how well they blend in to the surroundings. That was a nice little surprise. Now, as I was saying, I've been trying to look for some elephant, and we were so spoilt a month ago. We had elephants everywhere on Djuma, and they've just dispersed. They've just moved out. There's probably a lot of food all over the place for them now, so they don't need to be here, which is one of those things. I'm sure they'll be back at some point. Maybe move down towards the rivers where there's a lot more water and vegetation to feed on. Now I'm trying to think what our next plan will be. There goes a cuckoo, another cuckoo. Let's see if it sits. There, it did sit. Hang on, we might get it through here. There we go, VM. I don't think... oh, and there it goes. Now I'd love to see that cuckoo because I think that's the African cuckoo. I'd like to see the difference between that one and the one we saw earlier. Let's just have a look here quickly. Let me just scan. Let's see if we can see it sitting anywhere. I fear it may be gone. Can you see anything, VM? No. No. I think it's flown away very, very quick. And again, that's very different to the behavior of that other cuckoo that we saw. But I do think that might have been the African cuckoo. Alright, well, I'm going to work out a new plan and see what we can do and what we can look for. While I do that, let's head back to Brent for an update.
Well, we followed up on those testicular alarm calls. And, Brian, what did the killer bees say they were going to do today?
We're going to find a leopard.
Oh, and look at bugs. Did we find a leopard and look at bugs?
Potentially.
I think we potentially did. So one of the little cubs has just moved away from us. We don't want to go in and spook him just yet. How's this, Brian? Yeah. So there we go. You can see the footprint there. So it was lying right here and watching us without moving. And you can see it hasn't run off. It's walked off. So we haven't spooked it. we said we weren't going to tell anyone if we found a leopard, but we lied. We called Jamie. So she's on her way here. We are going to keep moving a little bit, see if we can find a leopard. But as I said, you got to listen to all those things. Those little brown jobs, those indescript birds that people drive past, they found us a leopard today. Now, it is quite thick here, and of course we don't want to spook the cubs too much on foot. We're going to keep our distance a little bit, see if we can spot them from a distance, and then wait for the vehicle to come in. So I don't think Karula's here. I think she's still off hunting. But what do you say, Brian? I say killer bees. And Aubrey, of course. Aubrey is... Yes, there we go. Aubrey. Yes. Okay. So we're going to move through here very quietly. So the cub's probably headed back down towards where there's some big trees and drainage lines. And we're hoping, by staying a little bit further away, these cubs are very relaxed on foot. I've been within 5 meters of them just staring at me. I've actually been hissed at by Hosanna when I found him on a kill on foot. But so we're going to just walk very slowly. And I'm quite sure once Jamie gets here, if she gets down below us here in a vehicle, she will find one of them. Or hopefully both of them. So we're just going to see if we can spot them from a bit of a distance. As I said, we don't want to spook them. Now, they've probably been watching us for 20 minutes, half an hour, watching us as we scuttle about, looking at flowers and grasshoppers. But our whole intention, and this is one of the important things when it comes to tracking animals on foot, you've got to stop and think like an animal. So we knew Karula. This morning we only had Karula's tracks going off to the northwest. So we know she's going to leave the cubs, and this is ideal place to leave the cubs. So we've just want to check down. So they're probably, if they are going to look, they're just going to peek over the edge at us. I'm pretty certain they're in here somewhere. No, we're actually 100% certain, not pretty certain. We can hear Jamie on her way. And I think maybe we'll walk up to the road and meet Jamie, send her in here, because she's going to definitely be able to give you a much better view of those leopards in the vehicle than we're going to be able to do on foot. And then, since we've done, the finding the leopards, we'll go look for some more bugs. So I said we just don't want to disturb them too much. And of course all these interactions with leopards on foot and things like that, by not putting pressure on them is very important, because it makes them far more comfortable when you track them in the future. I mean, you look at Mr. Tingana. When he first arrived, he used to disappear in a blaze of glory, and now on foot he's actually relatively relaxed, and that takes work, and that's not rushing things. So I mean, we could easily just stumble down there and see the cubs and get a quick glimpse, but I mean, after that they're going to be spooked, and it's going to be difficult for the vehicles to come in and find them. So half the point of tracking is it's not to have the longest view on foot, it's to find the animal and then get a vehicle in there so you can view it with a minimal amount of effect. And also, I just love tracking. It's a dying art form, and fortunately the safari industry is keeping it alive. Otherwise, I think tracking would probably be lost in this part of Africa. There we go. We can spot who's that through there. Is that Jamie? It is. So we're going to go jump ahead to Jamie, and we're going to get her to come in here with the vehicle. And oh, sorry, Brian. Forgot about you there, this long pole and whatnot. So we're just going to go let Jamie know where they were. So we're definitely sure there was one from the tracks, but it is quite hard there, so there could be another very easily. So there we go. Who's with Jamie? It's Xongile. There we go. Okay, so you're gonna come on. Oh, sorry, Brian, I forgot there. We're gonna go on a little venture. I'm just gonna give you a little behind insight into how the tracking team / to the vehicle works, and then while Jamie goes off road to find, we'll go visit Byron. But let's go have a chat to Jamie first. Hello. No. No, you don't need to walk far when you know where to find the leopards.
Is that nice and easy?
Yes, oh, it was. We've been looking at ho-hos.
Hello, Orbs.
Hello everyone.
Okay, so if you go in pretty much in the line we walked out,
Yeah.
there's a big knobthorn tree. Hey Orbs, what do you think there? A little bit. Yeah, start from this side, yeah.
And then go.
Yeah, so they're definitely there, but we spooked them, so we don't want to keep spooking them. Rather you guys go in the car.
Perfect.
We're going to go look for some more bugs.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
you have just had leopard on.
yeah, you know what one does on a Sunday afternoon. So we're going to go across to Byron, and hopefully Jamie will be back with you with those incredible little cubs shortly.
That's so exciting. I'm so glad Brent managed to find the leopards. I'm not sure how many there are around there, but Jamie's going to go and investigate, and hopefully we'll get a nice view of them. I wonder if Karula is back with the cubs on that side. We had tracks of her, as I said this morning, heading all the way in front of WildEarthTV camp from last night, but it just shows you how far she can walk when she's potentially looking for food, out hunting. She covers a huge area. So it would be wonderful to see if they're all there. Sure, it's still incredibly hot and humid. We haven't had any luck just yet with anything else. I've been driving all over really, just the way it happens sometimes. We've hardly seen Impala even this afternoon. Now that I think about it, we've only seen a few of them. I don't see sorry, I thought I saw something interesting. Let's just have a look. No, sorry, Via. It was a bush that appeared to look like an animal. There was nothing there. False alarm. Oh, Michael, you wanted to know how many different types of cuckoos are there. Now I just need to count quickly. Let's see what I can get through. So there's, let's start with the smaller one. So a Diedrich cuckoo, class as cuckoo. We then have Jacobin levalens, the African cuckoo, red-chested cuckoo, common cuckoo, the thick-billed cuckoo, what's the other one? The great spotted cuckoo, that's 9. Emerald cuckoo, I've seen that, that's 10. Okay, then what else? I think there's a Madagascar cuckoo it's very rare, but it can occur here occasionally. That's 11. Let me see for Southern Africa. Let's see if I'm right. I think I'm pretty close, so that's 11. Let's see if I've missed one. Alright, so African cuckoo we said, emerald cuckoo, long-tailed barred cuckoo, which I have not seen, and I'm assuming that's very rare. That's up in Zimbabwe and Mozambique, so we don't get that down here in South Africa. The black cuckoo, I forgot that, so that's 13. Common cuckoo we said, Diedrich we said, great spotted, Jacobin classes. The lesser cuckoo, also that's up in Zimbabwe and Mozambique, so not down here. The levalens we said, Madagascar we said, red-chested, thick-billed, and that's it for Southern Africa. So what's that? 14 species. 14 species of cuckoo that we get. So Michael, I hope that answers your question. I was close. I missed 3. And those are ones we don't really see here. I've never seen them. They're up in Zimbabwe and Madagascar. I mean Zimbabwe and Mozambique. Diane Brian, now the European bee eaters, you wanted to know if they compete with the other bee eaters around, or compete for nesting sites, or fight for food. So not necessarily, Diane. The reason for that is the bee eaters all fit a different niche. They all have a specific role to play. Also, the bee eaters vary in size, some of them. So they might feed on, for example, the European bee eaters will feed on larger insects as opposed to little bee eaters who will feed on smaller insects. But they won't. They also, some of the bee eaters don't nest in these areas. Some will nest in the banks of riverbeds and in the ground, like the carmine bee eaters. So they look for different nesting sites to the European bee eaters. So it all depends. So each one has a specific role or niche within nature that it fits, so they avoid competition that way. I think Jamie's still trying to see if she can find those leopards. I wonder if they didn't get a fright perhaps when they saw Brent. Occasionally it may cause them to move away a little bit, but some of them are, especially Karula and her youngsters, I think are a little bit more used to being tracked and found on foot, so they're not as skittish as some leopards can be, but they will most likely still move away, especially those little cubs. But Jamie is still in the area having a look around, so it'll be interesting to see if they have moved or if they're still in the same area. Probably just moved a little bit into the thicker drainage line. Try and hide out there, but I'm sure Jamie will have some luck fairly soon. Aaron, you asked if we could go to Treehouse Dam and you'd like to see the goslings. Actually, I was at Treehouse Dam earlier and we didn't see any goslings there this afternoon. They're possibly still in the area, but this afternoon we didn't see them. We started out down there and we didn't see them. I felt one or two little drops, raindrops. Now I wonder, have a look at this dark cloud in front of us. Now this could get fairly interesting. Maybe a bit later, not now, hopefully. And we'll see, maybe we get some rain. I'm going to see if we can get a glimpse of what's going on down at Sydney's dam, maybe, and just see if there's some animals down there. We do need a lot more rain though to really fill these dams up. They're still dry, very dry, as we saw with Buffelshoek Dam earlier. There's not a lot of water around in those dams. We need more water, I think, for the animals to really come into the area where there's a lot more water, cleaner water for them to drink. I think that's possibly why they've also moved off into other areas. Maybe the rivers have filled up a bit more. So it's better to drink down there than it is in these old muddy dams that don't have much water. Oh, there we go. Finally, some animals. Some zebra. Look at that. An impala. Oh, wonderful. Ah, there's a marabou stork out there too. But firstly, let's look at those zebra. There's a marabou stork on the ground. Oh, sounds like Brent's got Karula on foot. Let's go have a look quickly.
The killer bees. So what's happened is, I think we saw Hasana, where Jamie's looking now. We're not far and we found Karula and Xongile. So I'm just going to call Jamie. Now Karula is the most incredible animal on foot. She is so relaxed. I mean, she knows I'm here. I think I saw her at the same time she saw me. Jamie?
Hey, coming. Yeah, I'm sorry, can you stand by one? I need to update from Brent quickly.
Okay. Jamie, come up Rebecca's, I think that's Hosanna there. We've got Karula and Xongile on a termite mound. If you come onto Rebecca's where that big seep line heads to the north, there's a single jackalberry, quite a skinny one. We've got both of them lying up on that termite mound. So if you come back in, when I get your audio, I'll call you in towards us. Isn't this exciting? Okay, I'm going to move across a bit, Brian. Okay. A-firm jam, still on the west. So just as you get to Rebecca's, at that large seep line that runs parallel to the drainage system about 100 meters, 150 meters further to the west, you should get our visual not too far from the road. Look at this, isn't this exciting, guys? Leopard, that's the third leopard on foot.
It's going to take a while to get back to the drainage. Just bear with me.
Copy, no problem. They're very relaxed. So, I mean, with Karula, we've had closer sightings on foot, but there's no need. We're going to sit here. Isn't this absolutely amazing? And, you know, it's what happens when you put the killer bees together. Look at that. I mean, they're both well aware we're here. So, good news is, Hosanna's not far. He's probably 400 meters from us. And I'm pretty sure if she heads south from here, she will definitely find them. Even if she starts calling, even soft calling from here, she will find him again. I'm starting to wonder if maybe they don't have a killer around there. It's possible not. Isn't this wonderful? Look, see how relaxed she is. She's lying down. This is amazing. Oh, hello, little Xongile. Of course, she's not a Xongile, but she is very, very cute. Remember, this is 100% live. We are with leopards on foot, live from South Africa. And if you want to send us any questions or comments, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or questions at WildEarthTV. We're with the Queen Karula and Xongile, the little princess. Isn't this absolutely amazing? So, here we go. I'll show you what happened. We were walking through here, and that little gap that Brian's, so literally we spotted here, we're following this game path that I'm on here, and I just looked, and the termite mound flicked an ear, and I was like, that looks like a leopard. Oh dear. Whistle, whistle, just in case they're not relaxed. But you can see she's completely aware of us and absolutely not trying to move away at all. And we have had some amazing bushwalks with Karula. Well, you were with James on that termite mound. It's very similar sort of situation to this. And I think while I raced to get there, it took me about 15 minutes, and you just sat with her. Yeah. And this is awesome. Oh, it looks like, hold on, maybe she'll climb the tree. For fun. She tends to do that. Let's try from a little bit over here, see what she's up to. And it looks like she is looking. Oh, sorry, Brian. You can just see her tail there now, and she's just gone behind that little jackalberry. You got it. She's just to the right now. Okay, let's move for Karula, I think. Now, in certain cases, if I know a lot of you remember another favourite, there she is. She's actually coming closer to us. Maybe if you guys remember young Sindile, he used to do that. He used to actually follow us back to the car when we used to find him on foot. Oopsie. Thanks, Orbs. So I'm just handing the radio over to Orbs so he can call Jamie in while we sit here with the leopards. Brian, I know the sun's not ours, but would you say we're basking?
Oh, definitely.
We're definitely basking. I mean, look at that. She's lying down. We are probably 60 feet, 70 feet. What's that in meters? I don't know, 40 meters? Maybe a bit less from her, and she knows we're here, and so does little Xongile. Xongile's actually coming closer to us, but she's moving through the thickets, and we don't want to move too much, but she's watching us. It almost looks like she's having a bit of a game with us, and she's trying to sneak towards us at the moment. If you come here, Brian, where I am, can just make her out. She's sneaking. She's laying down there, and she's been sneaking towards us slowly and pretending we're a Franklin. We're a bit too big for you, little one. How awesome is this? As you can see, I mean, not a care in the world. Now, she's on the move again. This is one of those really special moments in bushwalk. It's not something we get to do often, is actually spend this much amount of time with a leopard on foot. And oh, amazing. I mean, she's fiddling around. You can see by her body language she's 100% relaxed. Now, she might try flank us. Oh no, she's found something else that's keeping her entertained there. What have you found? I'll move a little bit. Think it's going to be a bit better. She's found something there. Oh no, she's bored with it now. It looks like she's bored with us as well. She's heading back towards Karula. Where's Mom? Let's go. See if she's gone behind the termite mound now, but Mom's still sitting on top. Karula, that was our route home, man. Oh yeah, she's there. You can just make her out. She's fast asleep. You can see her lying flat on it. Oh, she's lifted her head. I'm just keeping her eye out where little trouble Xongile is. There she is. What is she up to? You see her, Brian? Mm-hmm. So basically, in that little sort of arc, where that quarry branch comes over, she's directly under there. She moved again. She's fiddling around in the little Tambuti thicket at the back.
Somewhere through there.
Yeah, she's there. You just saw them even go back a little bit. She's just through to the right of that big branch, but I'm going to keep an eye on her. Hopefully she pops out into the open again. I can hear Jamie on her way. Let's try to see if we can get a nice view of Karula before we make space for Jamie to go in. I think from over here, Brian's going to be the best. Or am I? Oh, we got a beautiful view of Xongile though. There you go, he is watching us. Hello, Trouble, we see you too. Oh, tired kitty. Oh man, they are such exquisite creatures. He's chasing lizards. What's she doing? Up to nonsense. Yeah, so she's playing around, chasing lizards, and completely ignoring us. But Jamie and Gendre have on foot. There we go. We're going to hand it over, but we're going to take one question quickly, and it's from another Jamie who'd like to know if we've ever seen them hunt or kill any birds. I've seen them attempt to catch Franklin, but I haven't seen them succeed yet. But now, of course, we're not going to put any pressure by getting too close on foot. We've had such an amazing experience on foot, and we've got Jamie and Gendre now, and who can go see what shenanigans she's up to. Looks like she's chasing lizards and the like. So we're going to let you go in there with Jamie, and let's just say the killer bees might be quite loud around the campfire tonight.
How cool is this? Well done. Having a very nice walk there. Oh, 2 leopard sightings on foot. Brian. Bye-bye. Well done, tracking team, bushwalk team. I don't know where I'm going. I'm assuming somewhere there. How exciting is that? My apologies for the slight delay in trying to find our way in here, but we are now in here. And now we just have to find the leopard. Don't you think it would be terribly embarrassing if we couldn't? It would be most cringeworthy, right? I heard words about termite mounds and jackalberries, so I'm assuming I'm going in the right direction, and this was the direction that Brent was. Oh, there. Okay. Relief. We can all breathe easy. I can see the leopard. What a fantastic... Karula really is such a star on foot. He's so incredibly comfortable with the presence of vehicles. And judging by the vehicle tracks that are here, somebody's been around this area not so long ago. Hello, Karula. Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen her. Where's your little madam? Ah, there's little madam. I'll just stop here for a second just to get the lie of the land and to figure out exactly what's happening and which way we should go. There is the magnificent Queen of Djuma, Karula. Feels like a long time since I last saw her. Probably it's only been a week or so, but it does feel like ages since I last had a chance to actually view her. So the cub that we were tracking earlier must be Hosana. He probably has met up with his mom at some point. They were separated the last time that Karula was seen. She was with Xongile and her meal, and Hosana was in quite a distance away, in a drainage line or a dried up riverbed. And we were just saying that it's a relatively common thing as these leopard cubs get slightly older, the fact that they will move further and further afield, and I think Hosana is doing just that. I have no doubt that she actually had already found him and that they'd been reunited, and probably he's just gone on yet another adventure. What have you got there? Has she got something? I think she's got a bird. Come on, let's go reposition quickly. I think she's got a bird there. Another kill for Xongile. Oh. No, that's definitely not a bird. That is a small Impala. So there is definitely a kill in the form of a baby Impala. There we go. So a little bit of a sad sight. Just hold on a second, we're going to reposition because Xongile might actually start playing with this carcass again. Ilana, you want to know, well,